Around 40,000 years ago, one of the first humans drew a bison on a cave wall to show where to find food. This simple drawing was more than art. It was one of the very first stories. Being good at telling stories meant you had a superpower for survival. It was a matter of life and death. In this video, we'll discuss how storytelling can help anyone to prevent themselves from becoming obsolete in this age of artificial intelligence. And to demonstrate what I mean, I'll also be telling some interesting incidents from the story Escaping Planet Magnif, which is a science fiction book which I have written and published on Amazon Kindle. And my aim is to demonstrate how storytelling can change something that would be just outright boring if presented as fact after fact, and how you can make something that's boring quite interesting using the principles of storytelling. So, communities with great storytellers were like superheroes because they knew all the tricks to survive in the wild. But think about it. What if your group didn't have someone who could tell stories? It would be tough without someone to share important stuff or warn about dangers through stories. Your group would be kind of lost, always a step behind. That could mean going hungry or running into trouble you didn't see coming. And guess what? Individuals with exceptional storytelling skills often emerged as leaders in ancient times. Fast forward to recent times. Steve Jobs is often hailed as one of the most masterful storytellers in the world of business and technology. Jobs turned product launches into narratives with a clear structure, setting the stage, building suspense, and then revealing the product as the hero of the story. By creating anticipation and mystery around each launch, he ensured that the audience was engaged and eager to see where the story would lead. Now, I told you about a science fiction book that I wrote which has the title Escaping Planet Magnif. And my intent when writing this book was to effectively communicate to people the power of journaling. Imagine if I simply listed the top 5 benefits of journaling. It might come across as pretty dull, right? To make things more interesting in my book, I introduce a character named Derek. He's a typical future kid who lacks purpose, follows the crowd, and lacks discipline. During a school trip to the moon, his mischievous actions lead him to a planet named Magnif. This planet has a peculiar effect. It amplifies the weaknesses of the human mind. Derek learns from his AI assistant on the spaceship that the portal back to the moon will close in 30 days. And if he misses this window, he'll be stuck on Magnif for another 200 years. Despite the urgency, Derek finds himself procrastinating, a clear influence of Magnif on his psyche. The question is, can Derek overcome the planet's manipulative effects in time to repair his spaceship and escape? Alright, before we get to that, let's see another powerful and interesting way in which Steve Jobs used storytelling. Steve Jobs harnessed storytelling not just for Apple's product launches, but as a key leadership tactic as well. He inspired his team with visions of achieving the unimaginable. Let's use the development of the first Macintosh as a prime example. Jobs aimed for a product that was not only powerful and user-friendly, but insanely great. He conveyed to his team that their work wasn't just about building a computer, it was about making history and challenging industry giants like IBM. He infused his project with a sense of rebellion and innovation symbolized by flying a pirate flag over the Macintosh team's building. This wasn't just about creating technology, it was a mission to change the world. Jobs' narrative transformed their work into a cause, pushing them beyond their limits and making them see themselves as revolutionaries. The Macintosh launch in 1984 famously introduced by a Ridley Scott directed commercial that aired during the Super Bowl was the culmination of this narrative. The ad, depicting a dystopian future dominated by conformity, an allegory for IBM's dominance in the computing industry, and a lone heroine representing the Macintosh smashing the status quo, perfectly encapsulated the rebellious and revolutionary narrative Jobs had fostered among his team. Storytelling is still a key skill for success. And maybe if you add this one skill to the existing skills that you have, it can take you from mediocrity to another notch of success and achievement. And perhaps I'm right, and this is one skill that will help you remain relevant in this age of artificial intelligence. Now, we'll discuss more of that soon, but for now, let's check in on Derek, who finds himself stranded on Magnif. The time is ticking away, and his efforts to fix the ship are thwarted by the planet's ability to enhance his inherent distractibility. Despair had set in, but amidst this, a curious thought struck him. Derek knew of intelligent beings on Magnif known as Extents, who had managed to establish a civilization despite the planet's tendency to magnify flaws. Wondering how they overcame such challenges, Derek decided to observe them. He noticed a peculiar ritual. Every morning, the Extents would ascend a specific type of tall tree, spending about 15 minutes at its top. When they descended, they were noticeably transformed. Intrigued by this mysterious practice, Derek resolved to climb the tree himself and uncover the secret behind their resilience. Let's read a part from the book. He started climbing the strange tree. As he started gaining height, the paralyzing fear started fading away. He started to feel good. Strange, thought Derek to himself. On top of the tree, he found that there was a place with a lot of leaves, some green and some blue. He decided to observe the leaves. When he touched a blue leaf, suddenly he could understand the thoughts that were inscribed on the leaves. There were various kinds of thoughts. Thoughts about fear, thoughts about hope, thoughts to remind the one who inscribed them that he can get through, thoughts which were about tough questions someone was asking himself. He felt strange and took his hand away from the leaf, and the thoughts stopped. He again touched the leaf, and there the thoughts started coming again. He was surprised by the feelings he experienced in this strange place. The place was full of peace and clarity and positive energy, nothing like how it is at the surface of Magnif. Now, if we skip a few paras, we'll read. So this is the secret of the Extents. They just come here and touch a blue leaf and pour their thoughts on it. Rejoicing at having found the secret and at feeling so much inner peace, Derek hurried down the tree. He made a mental note to call this tree the Helper Tree, as it had helped him overcome his difficulty. Notice how I was able to use a story to introduce the power of journaling. Do check out the book if you want to read the whole story. Now, with the AI boom, everyone is thinking and contemplating what to learn and how to remain relevant. Of course, we have to change with the times. But how do we know how to change and in which direction to move? Or what will actually be something that we can acquire that will be valuable in the future? I believe the key lies in storytelling. And to illustrate my point, let's hear another story, the story of BlackBerry. At the time the iPhone was introduced, BlackBerry used to have 45% of the market share of mobile phones. Today, it is 0%. We can connect BlackBerry's downfall to an inability in storytelling. BlackBerry struggled to articulate a compelling future vision that could compete with Apple's narrative. The company failed to evolve its story to match changing consumer expectations around smartphones, which increasingly prioritized multimedia capabilities, apps, and touchscreens. Another mistake that BlackBerry did was underestimate the shifting narrative towards personal and lifestyle use of smartphones among the broader consumer market. Apple not only innovated with its products but also in how it communicated those innovations. Each iPhone release was accompanied by a story of how it was going to change the user's experience, pushing the boundaries of what a smartphone could be. BlackBerry's communications, by comparison, seemed to lag, failing to generate the same level of excitement and anticipation. In fact, had BlackBerry focused on the story, they would have been compelled to change and understand the new landscape, as that would be the only resonating story. In the age of artificial intelligence, knowing in which direction we should change can only be truly understood if you stay open and try to tell to yourself the story that is unfolding. You will know when it makes sense and when it doesn't. This crucial skill will help you stay relevant. Whether you're an entrepreneur or a creative artist or a young professional, no matter the area of your expertise and your activities, the sooner you realize this, the better it will be. It's all about creating value for others. And to truly understand people and to influence people, there is no other universal language that the brain speaks other than storytelling. Check out this video where I share my story about how I tricked my brain to like to do hard things. This was part 1 of a series we are doing on this channel on storytelling. Consider subscribing for more content that aims at bringing out the best in you in unconventional ways. I'm Jackson Kailath, and see you in the next one.